If you watched the previous video, then you know what this is. But if you didn't, this is a starter out of a 1952 Chieftain. Now, it does work. Let me show you here. But it is very draggy. Ground this out. Let me flip it over where you can see it a little better. Get the ground there. Put a hot right there. We hook up this thing. Got my battery charger over here. It's a 6-volt starter. If you watch, battery charger has to be plugged in to work. It was mostly plugged in. At least I say it works. That's on 6 volt. I'll put it over here on 12 though. See, we hammer pretty good. And flash the lights apparently. And when it does turn, it's really laggy. So this is not 100% bad. But what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to rebuild this thing. So let's see. As you saw, it wouldn't even work then. Normally it does spin. If you look, this is really tense. This little gear right here on this Bendix, you can tell it's really stiff. So I'm thinking we're pretty dirty inside here. So what we're going to do is we're going to start taking this apart. Take off the silver piece. It doesn't look too bad in there, so I think we're going to be in good shape. Let's go ahead and get this back cover off. Get you some better views. Go ahead and get this back plate off. One bolt. And to be honest, I haven't ever taken a starter, at least on an automobile, this old apart before. Alright, somebody start the drop count, because apparently I'm doing it again. I have the dropsies. As I was saying, I've taken some tractor ones apart before, but I've never taken one quite this old apart on a car. Okay, those, don't let me forget, those go right on the end of the Bendix here. So apparently we're just going to come to pieces. So, in light of that, let's get this solenoid off the top here. Very good. Sprayed it with PV Blaster a while ago. Everything seems to be loose now. Okay. And of course we got to take this little ground setup right here. Well, not ground, but this is the hot line to the starter. And what we're going to do there is we're going to clean up all the contacts, make sure we're getting the best contact we can get, just in case we have a bad connector somewhere in there. 4 bolts right here. I'm just going to take this solenoid on off. And once they come loose, there's a starter final drive over here. I'm just going to let go separate. Magnetic tray. I love using magnetic trays. I don't know about you, but I always are missing bolts at the end. Have to go scavenging. Let's see here. Alright. If everything goes right, that should just come off right there. And there's the Bendix drive over here. We'll set it aside, because this part's actually working okay. Not sure why this doesn't want to let go. So let's take these little screws out, since this is definitely wanting to fight back. I'll get that back in a minute. There's that screw. Now the brush holder comes off. And that's what my brush holder looks like. And that's where I suspect my main problem is. That's how that's supposed to come out of there. Okay. Well, doesn't look bad. I've seen worse. This is dirty, but it's not grooved. The brushes are definitely worn, but they don't look too bad. I think we can clean them up. My glasses on so I can get a better look at it. You guys probably seen it better than I did. Okay. Yeah. As I'm figuring with that low torque, probably two of these brushes, or at least one of these brushes, isn't making contact. Definitely possible, because they show a little wear and tear. This armature cleaned up. Yeah, you can't even feel any of these grooves, so let's get all the trash off of it first. Use this 4/0 steel wool so I don't put any more scratches than I have to on here. And that would bridge this thing. Because each one of these is a little contact spot. Okay. That looks pretty good. Look at our magnets. You always want to be sure these magnets aren't cracked up, because sometimes people get carried away. These look pretty good in here. I'm gonna give it a spritz here. So magnets are all in pretty good shape in there. Let's see if you can see that. None of them are cracked or anything like that, so that piece is in good shape. That's seen better days, but there's not much I can do about that piece. I don't think anybody has those in stock. Alright, while I'm here though, I'm going to go ahead and take this apart, the solenoid, because this is an old school one. You can actually take these apart, and we'll see what condition our contactor is in here. Should be able to just gently usually hang on. Take these pins loose here. Forgot, I had to take that nut off right there. That nut passes through. These don't actually pass through. At least I don't think they do. Actually, that one does. Hang on. Okay, there we go. See what condition this is in. Yeah. This has been beaten on a little bit in its life. See, pretty good little burn mark right there. So we're just gonna take our steel wool, polish out that arc. And that wheel has definitely arced a few times in its life. Just gently do that. Don't want to force anything. Just gonna clean this disc up. Just get some of this carbon arcing out of here. It's working, so I'm not going to do too much to it. Because, you know, when it's a working unit, you can take this disc and flip it over if you really want to. But this one seems to be in good enough shape, I'm not going to. Because this actually, when this pops up, when the magnet hits, this pops up like this and makes contact. One nudge. Okay. And then one nut right here, just to keep up with it. Make sure that bottom one's pretty tight. Yeah, bottom one's good. Alright. Just keep up with that. So that pile is done. All we got left is this fun little thing over here. Now I'm just going to try to get in here with the steel wool and clean it, because these look pretty good. We're going to polish this out here. Yeah, that's cleaning up. And these brushes have definitely worn down just a little bit. Okay. I do have new brushes coming, so worst case, I'll be putting new brushes on here. Clean this out a little bit. This isn't a professional level rebuild. Once again, I'm showing you how I'm going to do it. But it will work. Okay. Because I'm sure there are people out there screaming that this is not the way to do a starter. You do need a little lubrication, but so you need it slick, but you don't want so much grease the world goes crazy on you here. Just trying to get this all nice and lubed. When you put too much grease, you can actually be counterproductive. Let me get this up here. The best way I found to put this on, just get up here, pull one of them out, pull another one out, pull another one out. Just kind of walk your way in here. And you'll find the happy medium in a second. And which one's hanging you up? Oh yeah, that's much better. And make sure, in this one there's these little grooves on these pins. And what had happened is somebody pushed it down and this pin was out of its groove. Oh, just like that right there. Another one's out of its groove. So it puts these brushes in the wrong spot. See, and that's why I come back and check this. See, there actually ought to be these little bushings here, but a couple of these don't seem to have those bushings. I don't know how important those are. Like this one doesn't actually have those bushings, so we're going to depend on that to hold it in place. But once again, let's try to remember that. Oh yeah, that's feeling better. Okay, so we're going to want to start putting this back together now. Okay. This will just kind of go in here. That really should be going in there a whole lot better than that. There we go. Yeah, I'm not going to get these screws put in right away because I don't want to get those wires in any sort of bind. And this goes in just like this. And these lines right here need to line up with the starter final drive. Okay. Let's get these two washers on right here. Okay. We need to get this up here because this obviously needs to fit in there. Okay, that goes something like that. Let's get these big bolts back in here. These can be a little tricky to get aligned some days. I crack that open so I can see what I'm doing. That should be getting pretty close. Okay, that one went in. Before I tighten anything down, let's get Didn't hit that much better, could I? Alright, now this brush assembly. Right here, you gotta get your screw in. And you got these two screws we took out a while ago is what reattaches your brush assemblies to power. One side without losing it down into the starter. See if I can do this other side without losing it down into the starter. Because I do so enjoy losing things. It's a much better challenge to chase everything down. Now I'll admit, doing this yourself, you don't get the pretty paint job and everything you do from the parts store on the refurb. But this also was free. And if I do end up wanting to put those brushes in, they're $5 for an entire set off Amazon. I'll throw you a link in there, the RX60s. They fit a million Delco Remis from back in the day. Alright, well let's take a look at this. This is a little dirty. This is the little assembly that pops in and out of the starter. It don't have to be perfect, but it certainly don't need any wear and tear in there, because this is not something I can replace. So we're going to get all this old scudge off of here. Like I say, with that one pin pushed out like that, I am betting we weren't actually making good contact. That's much nicer looking. Okay, let's just kind of, we're not going to really grease this up good, but we are going to slick up the whole outside of it. There we go. Nice and slick. Especially since, you know, this dust boot right here is not exactly in the best of shape. So let's put this back together. Oh yeah, that moves easy. We'll put some screws back in here. Make them all match where they originally were. And we're going to hope when we fire this up here in a minute, test firing it, that we don't just sit there and not do anything. Otherwise, this video will be how not to rebuild your starter. That wasn't what I set out to do. Let's see. Alright, make sure everything's nice and free. Okay, let's put our that there, put that there. Let's take that. It went somewhere. Stop and find out where. Alright, well first off, I am going to run this without the dust cover on here, just so I can see the action of this brush. But we should be in good shape now. Should be able to put that there. Good ground over there. Get our Lone Wolf 2000 out here. As this is your friend. You could buy it like that. Buy it like that. Let's take that. Don't have quite enough power, but on this battery charger, but sure spun up better. Let's take it over and do it on 12, because that 6-volt starter will handle 12. It'll just spin like a bat out of you know where. Going. Yeah, my charger don't quite put out enough on that 6-volt boost option, but that was enough to know that I think our starter is in a lot better shape than it was. Now I don't have that proper tape that they usually use for this. You go around here to keep the stuff out of it. I didn't see sparks or anything in those brushes though. So what I'm going to do is what I usually do right here. Is just chase that piece of trash back out of there. Okay. A little black tape on that. Do one more test since I did do that. Since I did kind of make a mess of my tape there. Let's do one more quick test just to be sure. Let's just throw it over on 12, make sure nothing's catching. Looks good. Okay. Now, that was a no load test, but sure seemed to do better, didn't it? Okay, one last thing. Get this to line up right here. Hold your mouth just right. You can hold everything just right. That wasn't just right. Just right. That'll click in place. And I believe that starter is ready to go back in the Chieftain. Alright, well join us back on part 2 of Will It Run on that Chieftain out there. And we'll put this starter back in and see if we can turn the engine over a little faster. I bet that'll help get us going, since we got spark back on that car. Alright, until next time, thanks for watching. Huh?